actions, conscious efforts, and practical approach. Every individual in the society has his or her own role to play to make an ideal society. Your role is to be a good citizen, law-abiding, preserve moral and cultural value system. On the other hand, society also has a lot of roles and responsibilities over our people. By providing basic amenities, security, and protect fundamental human rights, an ideal society is where a group of people live together, interact with each other, such as through fair politics, economics, religion, culture, shared values, norms, freedom, equality, and systemic institutions. But unfortunately today, our society is no longer what it used to be many years ago. Our history, dignity, and respect for morality is fast cascading down the valleys of destruction. So as a matter of fact, something needs to be done to salvage us from our present predicament. Remember, the late Dan Masani of Kano, Alhaji Sule Maitama, in his remarks said, "We are no longer what we were. What is happening today is not in our character. Today, the institutions and families have been broken down. Respectful elders and constituted authorities, which used to be our cardinal principles in our society, is now at the lowest ebb. Honesty, where it does not pay, are becoming meaningless. There is meaningless in philosophy, insecurity in polity, chaos in politics, immorality in society, corruption in economy, frustration in art, and lack of creativity in literature. Nobody can do everything, but everybody can do something. Remember, our problem is always not about scarcity, but how to manage abundance. But the abundance seemed never to have profited us efficiently. Instead, it rather turned out to inflict pains and hardship on us because of the high level of poverty in the land, high rate of corruption that had negatively reshaped the average mentality of the society and make them believe that everybody for himself and God for us all. Whosoever that is slow, may the devil takes him. My dear friend, it is quite unfortunate that our youth are greatly abandoned in the society, which has led to high rise in moral decadence, youth restiveness, emotional disorder, public distrust, cultural and value degradation, cybercrime, women trafficking, armed robbery, banditry, kidnapping, money rituals, and drug abuse. All of these vices have eaten deep into the fabrics of our society. Remember, any society that failed to support her youth has no license for the future. Our societal best brains were greatly abandoned, and bad ones were often celebrated and promoted. As a result of this, many have left the country to seek succor and ends meet in a strange land, commonly referred to as Japa syndrome. Remember, no nation can grow more than the mentality of its people. Government, of course, have tried our best in all capacity to address these problems, but it is apparent that our best is never good enough. Individuals, private organizations, and higher learning environments need to rise above the board and brace up in nation building through mutual consultations, collaborations, and real engagement. Oh my dear friend, we need to begin to make a conscious effort today to retrace our steps and fall back to line. As a respected group of people, most of the developed nations are not better than us in any way. They only understand basic principles of life so as knowing themselves and begin to put things in place. Best examples are Nigerians in diaspora, most of which are doing wonderfully fine in their various line of endeavor. Most of our finest brains and minds are scattered across the globe. They are in the Europe, UK, US, and other parts of the world, doing wonderfully well, while the nation is dying in silence. Instead of her to devise a means and strategy to lure these great minds back home to fix the country, doesn't appear to us as a big deal. Oh, what a nation. Our youth also need to be seriously worked on and properly engaged. For many of our youth today are becoming more virtual rather than being factual. They are not real, and the reason is simply because of lack of real engagement in the society, whereas they are finding the real engagement in the virtual world. Many of our youth are fashionable rather than being functionable. Remember, there are 4 P's of societal development. Number 1, people. Number 2, people. Number 3, people. And number 4, people. My dear friend, always remember that when a machine spoils, people will repair the machine. But whenever people spoil, they will definitely spoil the machine. Any nation that fails to value education of its people is prone to doom. A great scientist, Archimedes, once said, "If you give me a place to stand, I will move the world." The place to stand and who to stand with is to stand with more brains. Brain activation, cultivation, and optimization through real engagement, hard work, discipline, character, integrity, competence, and collaborations with appropriate quotas. Lot can be achieved and get us from our present state of societal quagmire. My dear friend, remember that the marble is available and the chisel is there. It is now left for us as a society to fashion our design for living. To adopt the change begins with me mantra and renewed hope to reshape and redirect our minds and mentality. In order to achieve our renewed hope as promised, all we need to do is to have a mind of service and contribution to our society. For every human being is born to serve and contribute. With this, I believe we can mend our ways by reasoning together as a nation, address our differences and understand our bound, respect our views and opinions, and always learn not to pray for what we ought to pay for, because the letter R that differentiates pay from pray is called resistance. Any nation, any community, any society that is able to overcome the resistance will have peace and become a successful nation. Let us rise above the board in nation building through mutual understanding, provision of enabling environment, especially for our teeming youth, to drive the economy, engage in consultation, collaborations, and real engagement. Remember, the help is at our fingertip. The knowledge is here. The land is here. The sun is here. The minerals are here. Let's make a better use of them. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where I shall be drawing today's curtain on the rays of wisdom. I hope this episode of Rays of Wisdom in the Society has inspired and encouraged you to be a good ambassador of your society. To continue with this conversation, you can connect me on my WhatsApp number 080-3838-1968. I'm yours sincerely, Abu-Zainab Alasela.
Are you a business owner? Emirate Radio gives the opportunity for infant organization and commercials for advertisement and publicity on our varieties of shows and update for the growth and expansion of your commodity. Grab your opportunity today by sending a mail to info@emirateradio.ng. Call 0913 4158 376 or 0806 134 6946. Visit Emirate Radio House behind Federal Ministry of Environment off Old Jebba Road, Ilorin, Kwara State, Nigeria. Emirate